Hey all, so it's Editing Hunter from the future. Unfortunately, my intro for this video and my audio for some reason went completely whack through the entire video. So the audio is a little bit funny and unfortunately I don't have an intro. So basically, welcome to this video. I'm going to be renovating one of my followers' houses. They requested this renovation. It was a quite nice house. I'm going to run through basically their pre-house before I renovated it, and then obviously we're going to go ahead and renovate the house. This is a bit of a longer episode, but I hope you guys all enjoy. And I do apologize again about the audio. I will get that fixed for our next video. So it's placed on the Tangled Flat lot in the Island Living map. I can't exactly remember the name of that at the minute, but it's looking a little bit cluttered straight off the bat. It's mainly, I think, due to these few items that are at the front here. I think from what I can tell, this person has sort of looked at sort of all of the different items that your sim might want in terms of hobbies, and then they've gone ahead and added all of those in. So it's very sim focused from what I can tell, this build. We've got, like, obviously if they plan to have children, we've got all of the different kids things. We've got many plant pots outside as well. We've obviously also got the basketball hoop. I think I might still see if I can include those, like a few of these, but I think having them straight out the front of your house probably isn't the best idea, just because then from the road it does look a little bit cluttered right out from the front of the house. I do like this little sort of grassy section that they've added right in front of here on top of the actual building. I think that this looks kind of cute. Bit odd to have the animals in there. I might swap those out for just like some bushes and plants and things, but I do like this little part at the top. We do, obviously, this sim, I guess, really likes growing things. They've got a lot of different plant pots scattered around. We've got a little bar around the back section. We do have a hot tub as well. There's obviously a few little plants and things too. I think what I might do is pull the whole thing forward just to give us a bit more of a back garden, and then we can do just like a couple of bits to the front garden. But if we start on the ground floor, I know that there is a basement as well to this. We do have all of this section, which is technically outside, and it consists of, I guess, a little bit of gym equipment. It's basically everything that you can think of in terms of hobbies. And I think that there seems to be a bit too many hobbies maybe going on here. I think this is quite a big house though, and there's quite a lot of Sims living here. So I guess if you want the idea of being able to sort of get all of those different skill levels up for your Sims, then it kind of does make a bit of sense. But I definitely think we should maybe reduce that down just a little bit, because it's looking a little bit cluttered on a lot this size. I think it might be better if it was on a slightly bigger lot, but let's have a look at what it looks like on the inside. So here's our kitchen area. We've got, I do like this little window that's just like open here. I think that must be from the Island Living pack, because I haven't seen that window before. So this is also my first time experiencing having a look at all of the Island Living stuff, because I only just got the pack. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see. They definitely uploaded this to the gallery after playing in it, because I'm kind of getting that might be where they picked up all of the extra items that they've included. Some of these things feel like they've kind of been placed in afterwards, like this gym equipment, where they might have had the sim living there for a bit and they were like, oh, I really need some gym equipment, and then they've just kind of placed it in somewhere where it might fit. And obviously we do have like some food on this kitchen counter and things, and obviously the plants, some of the plants are actually growing, so they've definitely played in this before uploading to the gallery, which I don't think is always the worst thing, but obviously it does just leave a couple of bits scattered around, like the feeder has like food in it and things. But so looking at the kitchen, I'm not the biggest fan of the color combinations. I do kind of like this flooring. I think the flooring is kind of cool, maybe not for the kitchen, but I think maybe it's a little bit too bright. I tend to go with like more warmer tones rather than this kind of light wooden color, and I think just the sort of really bright blue is kind of giving like holiday home, which this could be, but I think this is actually meant to be like someone's house. I do like that the picture matches though. So move over to the dining and living area. They've obviously put some pet things in here as well. I see obviously they do have the pet pack, so we could include those like different pet items in the actual like build that I'm gonna do. Another thing that I'm not the biggest fan of that I'm kind of picking up on is that we've got kind of a lot of sort of mixed color schemes. So we've got pink over here and then blue in the kitchen, and then sort of like some tapestries and things. There's kind of a mix of styles, I think, is a lot as well. So we do have a mix of like this sort of Middle Eastern kind of tapestry mixed with a slightly bit more Victorian like furniture in terms of like our sofas and our dining tables. And then we've got this sort of like very sort of more expensive looking picture on the wall, which I feel like all of that kind of doesn't go amazingly together. So I think maybe sticking to like one specific kind of style or a couple of different kinds of style, but that at least from the same kind of area might work a little bit better. We'll try work that out once we get into it, actually redecorating it. We do have the more pinks and blues sort of combination over here in the living room as well. We do have another section around the corner here where we have an ice sculpture and then also a karaoke machine and obviously music sections. This is kind of like the dance floor entertaining area, and then obviously we have a bathroom down here as well. The bathroom is very much a mix of some sort of random colors that I think we could maybe tone that back a little bit. But let's have a look at downstairs. So there is a basement level as well that contains another living room and a tiny bathroom coming off of it as well. We then have another sort of, I'm guessing this is like a little recording studio, and we've got like a little makeup section as well, and then we've got a safe room back here as well, a vault, which I'm guessing that this family is like, it's feeling a little bit jack of all trades, this entire house, where we've got like a lot of different things all happening at once. I'll tell you what I do like though, is I absolutely love this little like pool that's in the basement. It looks actually really nice. I really like the different like plants going all the way across it. Bit odd that there's like ducks and swans in there, but I do kind of like this area. I think we can incorporate that quite well in with the actual like final bowl. I think I might actually leave that pool there because it actually looks kind of cool. So let's go back up again, and we're now going to our top floor, which is obviously where we've got all our bedrooms. So from looking at this, we've got obviously a little hallway with some fish at the end there. Our first bedroom is this one here. It's not too bad. I think like the color, I think you can do these kind of like brighter colors a little bit better when it comes to the bedroom. I do feel like it's a little bit cluttered though with the sofa. And then obviously we've got like a punching bag in here as well. The little desk is fine, I think, but we actually have, is that a game? And it's a speaker. Okay, so that's fine. We've got a little speaker in there too. So I don't think it's too bad. I think it just needs maybe a little rearranging. I might attempt to reevaluate, because obviously this builder's like sort of looking at it in the sense of like having everything that your Sims might want to do in the whole house. I think what might be better is, because we've got the treadmill downstairs somewhere outside, we've got a punching bag here. What might be better is actually just making a small gym, and then at least then it's sort of all combined into one area. I think we have like 3 sort of living-y kind of areas that could be kind of separated off into more hobby rooms. We've obviously got another bathroom in the middle here, and we've got another bedroom coming off of here. I'm going to try and stick to the same amount of bathrooms and bedrooms just so that we're not taking too much away from the original build. This one, I think this rug is just a bit too big. I don't think it should ever really come up to the edges here, but I do like that they managed to fit this many bedrooms, sort of bathrooms into this whole lot that is actually quite a small lot. So that's quite good that they've sort of managed to do that, and it's not like it is a little bit cluttered, but I think that's mainly based on the items that are in there. This one's definitely got a lot going on. Obviously it is a kids room, so I think you can tend to have a lot going on in a kids room just because kids have a lot of hobbies as well, and they tend to have a lot of toys. Then we've got is it an office space? No, it's an office space slash like, I'm guessing, the master bedroom, where they're definitely a collector. They've got all of these things here, and again we've got another hobby, so we've got a easel, and obviously I'm guessing that they're an astronaut because we've got the whole like space pad out here. We've got an astronaut statue, and obviously this like telescope here, and then they've got a bathroom coming off the master bedroom. Again, not a massive fan of the color palettes. The yellow and blue is just a bit odd, I think, as a choice. The colors aren't too bad in this room though. I think it's not too bad. We've got more hobbies as well up here because we've got embroidery hoops. I think it's definitely feeling a little bit jack of all trades, but we might be able to do something with that kind of separates them off into different rooms. So let's crack on with doing it. I think I'm going to do it, we'll do it room by room because there is quite a lot going on here, but I think I'm actually going to start outside just because then we can get a better idea of like what kind of space we would need outside. I'm going to count this bit as the outside area as well because it's technically all outside, and we've got this rooftop section as well. So I'm going to start by, I think, clearing up some of these items that are back here. We can add them back in later, but at the minute I think they're a bit too much. Now let's go to the back garden where we know that we have a bit more space now. I am half tempted to actually pull this out like inwards a little bit just so that we have a bit more space in this back garden because we have a lot of hobbies that include growing things, and I think that would definitely need a little bit more space. So what I'm actually going to do is we're going to remove, I think, is there actually, I just realized, oh no, there is a way to get out to this back garden. So now we have a bit more space in our garden. I'm going to go ahead and just remove this plant just because I'm not too sure why it's there at the moment. We are probably going to keep this hot tub, but I might use a slightly different one. I'm going to pop it over here for now. Remove these sort of little bits here, and I'm even going to just remove all of this flooring. I'm also going to remove these two plants because they're a bit sort of cottagey, and that's definitely not the kind of vibe that we're going with here. I think we could just go with something simple like this. I'm trying to work out what kind of colour we want to do it in. I think this one kind of matches some of the other colours that we've kind of got in the build already on the outside. I think that's looking okay. I do want to add a small fence in as well. We do have a bit more space on this back section, to be honest, so we could actually stretch it out to be like this. That'll actually give us even more space. And then I think it's always good to be able to get out of this back section as well, so I'm going to add in a little gate. And I'm going to grab some of these and we can bring them around, because some of these are actually already growing things, and that'll make it look a little bit nicer as well. Additionally, I don't think we necessarily need them underneath all of these, like this inside section. I feel like, again, it's a little bit unnecessary, especially as we're now doing a garden where we've got all of these, like, it's basically we're sectioning it off a little bit so that it feels less cluttered, like there's a lot going on in each area, and we're more separating it off so that it's individual places where you can grow things, and then where you can go to the gym and things like that. I think that's more what this build kind of needs. Something that we've got to bear in mind though, I do kind of want to put one of the kids' like play area bits in over here, so I think I might go with this one, and we can just pop that here right at the end. I'm going to just rearrange some of these plants now so that it makes a bit more sense. So now we've moved those around. I've added two little plants into these corners here just to make it look like it's a little bit more grown. I've also added two additional ones there, and we've moved the fence over just a little bit. But this garden's looking a little bit better now. I do want it to look more green though, so I'm going to see if there's more additional bits that we can add to make it feel a little bit nicer out back here. Yeah, even just like a little table like this is kind of cute. That'll give us a little bit more space to be able to sit out here, because this is quite a big house, so it's probably got quite a few people living in it. Add the little dirt tracks, and then I'm going to add a little something to the top of this table as well. So now that we've finished our main back garden, I'm going to move over to our more sheltered sort of outdoor area, which is all of this space up here. So I do plan on making a gym, so I am going to remove this like a treadmill here. This is clearly meant to be like sort of a bar area. It makes sense with the microphone there, and obviously we've got a cute little bar over here. I don't actually think that really needs to change too much. I don't like this rug because I think it's quite bright, and I'm not a big fan of these lights, so I'm going to remove those as well. I do think this microphone's a good idea though, so I'm going to change the colour slightly to not be yellow, just because I think it was quite bright, and we'll add it a little bit more in the corner. I am going to also change these chairs, just because I'm not the biggest fans of those either. I do like this bar though, I think that looks fine. Over this side we do have this random workbench, which again is a part of the sort of hobbies that this person has, and we do have this big light, which I'm going to remove that as well, and we're going to replace it with the same one we picked over here, but I'm just going to put it in this corner. We can even add a second one maybe here, but I think a little bit more seating might be a bit better out here. I do obviously want to kind of keep this woodworking bench, but I am tempted to just move it off over here, make it a little bit darker. I feel like it might just be better being somewhere else, but I'm trying to work out if there's anywhere else I can put it that isn't in the way. I actually think it is just better in this corner. I think that's kind of okay to have it in the corner there. So budge this plant just so that it's right next to it there. And then I think we do just need like a little bit more seating out here, as this is kind of a bar area. I think this thing is fine, but I am going to maybe move it here. Over here we do have a chess set, so sort of another hobby that this character, the players would have, like the little Sims. So we could keep this, to be honest, but I think we can move it more in front of this window here, move it over a little bit, and let's just change the colours so that they match a little bit better. And then I'm going to add another one opposite so that we can actually play with two people. So we have removed a lot of the plants that were over here, or the planters, so I'm going to just remove these last ones, and we can do some decorating over in this corner. We do also have the whole front of the house as well to decorate, which I am just going to add like just a bunch of bushes and just make it look kind of pretty. Actually, this might be better over here because we haven't got like a massive amount going on, and it might be quite nice to have an area where you can actually have another hobby kind of happening. I'm going to put it in this corner, and we're going to do it at a slight angle so that it looks like it's used a bit more. And then we can go ahead and add in our decorations. So I am going to add in some plants and things. This I think is fine, but I do want to change the color to green. I think that this should be gray as well, this mailbox here. So I'm just going to push the mailbox so that it's maybe here, and then we can add some plants all across this front section. So I'm going to go ahead and add just a bunch of bushes along here. So there we go. So we've got just a row of these varying different colors. I think it's looking a lot better now. Then we can go ahead and add just a bunch of plants scattered around here. I do like to just add like loads of them in sort of just like a sort of range of color, but we want to go with ones that kind of go, like if we went with this, it doesn't particularly work because it's like a barrel. It looks a little bit too rustic. These ones I think tend to work pretty much wherever we put them. Same with these little plants as well. So I'm going to add a couple to that corner there, and then I want to add a few things over this side. Don't want to add too much though around this corner, otherwise it ends up feeling a bit cramped. I think what I might do is do maybe a bench or something a little bit different there. I think it's nice having a bench just like directly outside of the house. We could go with one in this reddy tone that we were picking. I think this one doesn't really go with the vibe though. Something in maybe just like wood. Yeah, that looks quite nice. I'm going to do that, and then we're going to add a couple of plants just next to it on this side too. And because we're in a sunny setting, we can go with cactuses. I always reserve those for mainly just these more sunny settings, but I think that looks pretty good for the outside of our house. So I'm going to go up, and we're just going to do this balcony over here as well. I'm actually fine with the roof. This person is actually, I think, better than doing roofs than me. I hate doing roofs. I think they're like one of the hardest things to do in The Sims, but I think this one actually looks really cool, so I'm going to leave that the way that it is. I actually kind of like the colour as well. It's giving that like very sort of holiday summer kind of place vibe. I am going to change this. I'm not a big fan of the animals, so what I'm going to do is actually just remove the animals. These pink things are cute. I like those. I'm going to leave those there. But what I'm going to do instead is we're going to keep this fence as well because it actually matches the fence that we picked down there in our back garden. Then what I'm going to do instead is actually fill it with these squares here. Doesn't matter too much what's underneath it. I think it normally is just better if it's like slightly green, which it is here. This does normally take a while. You can also just make them bigger if you wanted to, but they obviously the flowers also get bigger if you do that. So I'm just going to keep it as the small ones for now. This then gives us a much more textured feel about the actual build. I am actually tempted to maybe change the fencing. Let's see how this looks instead. If we did it like this. I feel like that does look a little bit better, so I might go with these ones instead. Yeah, I like that a little bit more. It looks a bit more contained. And then we're going to keep going with this top section. At the minute, it's too linear. So what I'm going to do is start adding in a bit more definition with some thicker plants. I really like this bush here. So let's go over to our astronaut pad. I'm not a fan of this rug here, and I think, is that something? What is this? Build your own rocket kit. I mean, we have this, so we don't necessarily need this, but I have an idea. So I'm going to remove this statue that we've got here. This is fine. I'm fine with this. And I just want to change the color a bit so that it matches. The color for this one is fine, and I'm fine with that one too. So what I'm going to do is move this a little bit so that it's there, and we're actually going to point it a little bit further away like that. And I'm going to add some surfaces to this back section here that we can then put some items on and just make it feel like there's a bit more to it, as opposed to somewhere where we've just kind of like dumped a few items. So I think we go with this one. It has the same kind of vibe. I'm going to then put this over here, and then we can put some items on top of there as well. And I do think we need some plants as well, because we do have a lot of plants already outside. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I'm then also going to add some chairs or like a bench over here so you can actually watch the rocket launch. Additionally, obviously, I'm going to add some plants to this corner too. I think it's always good if you've got a bare looking corner just to add some additional plants in. I think it just makes it look a little bit nicer, even if it's just a couple. There we go. Then I've added this cute little bench in so that you can actually watch the rocket launch. So I think that's actually quite good. I think we're done with our outside area. I definitely feel like it looks a little bit more cohesive now. So we can then move on to the inside of our house, which this one's going to take a little bit longer to kind of fiddle around with. I do like the stairs in the middle of the room. I think that kind of works. It gives us a very like open plan feeling about the whole house. I do think I want to change the railings though to be like a little bit darker maybe. I definitely want to change up this kitchen. I do like the fact that the kitchen's quite open plan, and the two ovens is kind of cool as well. I think the Sim painted these, right? Small abstract painting, yeah. So the Sim Sim definitely painted this. I'm not the biggest fan of having the abstract paintings in this room. Did they paint this one too? No, this one's just a painting. So I'm gonna start and I'm just gonna strip back this whole area, to be honest. I'm gonna move the paintings into our inventory so that we might be able to use them later, and I don't just want to get rid of them straight up. So now we can go ahead and work out our kitchen area. I'm gonna remove that rug as well. This is like a decent space for a kitchen. I think we could make it look quite cute. I do think I kind of want to change the flooring though. I think we could go with sort of nice tiling. Something like this would work quite well. And as we do have this sort of strange like sort of divide here, it'd be better to go with a corner like this. And for our lights, I really like this one from the actual island pack. I think that looks so cool. I really like the droppy effect. We're going to go with different cabinets, but I've moved this little window so it's directly over the countertop, over the ovens, because I think that would actually be a really good design. So we just got to find some counters that kind of work with this kind of color scheme. I feel like these ones work quite well with the ovens and like the fridge design that we've picked. We do just a long shelf like this that goes all the way across there, and we can do it like this, and that should look a little bit nicer. Gives us lots of space as well to be able to put items. We could even rotate it so that it goes around the room like this. I think that does actually look kind of cool, so let's go with that, just to mix it up a little bit. I am tempted as well to add in curtains to this room. I'm not too sure how that'll look, so let's have a look. These ones are actually really cute. I might go with these. I like these. Yeah, that looks nice. Also looks kind of cool from the other side of the window as well. Then, of course, we need our sink, which I could add 2 sinks to this side because we do have 2 ovens, but I don't think you need 2 sinks directly next to each other. That would be a bit odd. So we'll maybe go with 1 sink, and then they did have a microwave in there as well, so I want to pop that back in and we'll just put it in this corner here. I believe they also had a coffee machine, so I'm going to go with this coffee machine over here that matches with the rest of the kind of decor that we've picked. Safety first, I'm going to put a smoke alarm above the fridge as well. Then we can go into decorating, which we've got this wall here to decorate, this corner over here, and obviously some counter space, and then we've got all of these shelves up here to decorate as well. I'm going to skip that bit for you guys and I'll just do a recap afterwards, just because it's going to take me a while to do that. Okay, so I have filled up all of the shelves and we've added some stuff to the countertops, basically just making it look as cluttered as possible. Most of it is kitchen related stuff. We've got some books and things, which is obviously a little bit unrelated to kitchen, but other things that we've added are definitely things that you would have in a kitchen. I've added some plants and some pots and things as well, and that's just using Alt-9 in order to raise most of it up and then place it in the right place. We do have a bit of wall space over here, which I'm gonna add something to. Probably these. I really like adding these to all of my builds pretty much. I just think they look really nice when added into a kitchen. I'm gonna add them here, and then I think we're gonna add a bin just directly underneath them. I tend to do it that way. I'm not too sure why. And we're gonna go with a silver one just because we also have other silver appliances in the kitchen. Looking pretty good. I didn't re-add in a light, so I do need to go in and just grab a different light. Originally, I think it had this one in there, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I would rather just use a small one like this, but I think this kitchen is definitely looking a lot better. I think it's a bit dangerous to be having this directly over an oven, but this is a video game, so it's fine. We do have a bit more space to maybe add something back here because it is looking a little bit empty. I do quite like these, but they are massive. We could just make them a bit smaller though. Okay, so that's our kitchen done. We do have this like entranceway here where clearly they have quite a lot of pets, so we've kind of got all of these pet bowls, which is a bit extra. We'll do something with the pet bowls, but I don't think they should be directly in front of the door. I understand them being close to the kitchen though. For these bits, I'm going to add the homework things back to the inventory so that this person might be able to just continue playing straight away. I am going to get rid of this entire table though, because I'm not a fan. I think this is a really nice area to have a dining room though. There's a few things that still I'm not a big fan of, like these plants. I think we could find a new place for the dog bed, but I'm not going to remove that straight away anyway. I do think we could actually split up this room. I know it's got this really big open plan thing going on at the minute, but I just think it is a bit too open plan. So what I'm going to do is actually just separate this off here and add in an additional wall coming this way so that we then have a bit more wall space to be adding some more decorations, and it actually feels a little bit more separated off from this living room here. Okay, I've extended out this wall a little bit and I've changed some of the colours, and I feel like a lot better about this now. So now we can go in and actually do our dining area, which should be like a decent amount of space. We've got loads of space to be able to put like many chairs, and we definitely need it to be quite big because this is quite a big family. So let's go ahead and now add in our dining table and chairs. Could we do a big one? We could probably do a big one if we didn't do chairs on both ends. I think that should be fine. It's going to go with this darker table, and then we can add some decorations in and it'll look much nicer and sort of brighter once we do that. For our chairs, I do like these ones, and these do add in a splash of colour as well. I'm going to go with red, I think, as our splash of colour though. We could actually do chairs on both ends as well, but I'm a bit worried that then it'll be overdoing it a little bit, and what I would rather do is actually put a small table at the end here, so we can put some decorations on there like this, and then we can decorate the table and this section here and obviously the corners of the room. What I also want to incorporate is one of these directly above this dining table, because I think that they would like that a lot if this was real people living in this house. And we have incorporated red into our color scheme in this dining room, so I'm going to go with a red, I think that's, yeah, a red vase just at the end there. And then we do need some little bits on the actual table itself, so I'm going to go with some flowers. We go with these red ones, they're quite pretty. We do have this big section over here as well behind the table, which I'm going to add some big picture or something. I'm feeling like this one works quite well, but it's big, but I actually don't think it's big enough, so I think we need to go a little bit bigger. They did have one of these in the other room, but I really don't think that that kind of goes with the style that we've picked here. Anything that's more tropical would work quite well. I feel like we should go with this. I think this one kind of does work. None of them are that red. This one does have red in it though, so I think that this one's probably the best choice. We can also do some lights either side to make it feel like it's bigger as well. I'm going to go with these ones because they feel sort of tropically too. I think that's looking pretty good. We definitely need some bits either side of here, so I'm going to go in and add more. I think we need, I am tempted by like some kind of lights at the end here of this table. What we could do is one of these cute little like tea light holder things. I might put one there, and then we can do a plant on the other side. There we go. So I think that looks pretty good for our dining area. We then still have our entrance way to do some little bits to too. So I'm going to add this over here because I think that's always a really good thing to add in right next to our front door. And then we could also add in some shoes. So I'm just going to add some directly underneath it. We do still have all of our pet bowls that we need to work out a place for, so I'm going to work out where I'm going to put those next. I'm tempted by putting them in either this area over here or in the living room, but I think we need to work out what this space is over here first. So I can kind of see what they were doing with this room. It's clearly meant to be like sort of a music like jam area because we've got a violin there, guitar there, we've got a karaoke machine, and we have like a speaker system. So I can kind of see what they were trying to do, but it is kind of a mishmash of a few different things. I think we can probably work out a way to make this a little bit nicer. We'll keep the speaker system. I'm going to put it directly under this window here though, and we're going to change it to be red so that it matches our color palette a bit better. I'm going to get rid of this rug and those flowers and this final picture in here. And then what I'm actually going to do is make this a bit of a stage. So we're going to go all the way across here, and I'm just going to pump it up one size so that we've got one platform underneath it. And that's going to make it feel a lot more like somewhere where you would go and perform. This is making it feel a little bit weird with this area being so closed off though, so I am kind of tempted to actually change it so that this is the doorway again, just because it's looking a little bit odd. So now rearrange that a little bit. We've got our sort of performance area over here, which I think we can do a few things to that. So karaoke machine, I think the color is fine being this sort of grey shade. We've then got our speaker system back here, but I do also want to include like speakers on the walls as well, I think, just to make it feel more like you have like surround sound kind of thing. We'll add 2 up here. Then I'm going to move this guitar over here so that it's all pointing the same direction. And again, this is just sort of organizing it so that it feels like all of the hobbies are in individual areas. So this is obviously where you would practice like singing or performing and that sort of thing. I think we could we also add a light? Yeah, we could add a light over here. And I do kind of want this to be symmetrical, so I'll add one to this corner too. Then finally, we can just add some plants in. And I don't want there to be lots because this area is already looking a little bit cluttered, but I think that many is looking pretty nice. I think we could have one picture or something on this side of the wall as well. Then we've got our living space, which I definitely think this needs a big renovation. We do also have this space over here, which I'm actually tempted to add in the pet bowls that we had before, just so that we do have an actual space for those bowls. I'm gonna pop them over here and we can just do them all right next to each other. Or alternatively, we could do them on the other side actually. That might work a little bit better. Okay, now we have our living room area. So this is a bit of a weird shape and we do have this big gap here, but I'm sure we can work out something for it. Before, obviously, the TV was on this wall. I think what I'm actually going to do is do it as two separate areas. So this might be like a reading area on this side, and then the sofa can come across here, or maybe across here and here, and then we can put the TV on this side. Actually, I think that might be a bit better. It might feel a bit more open. So I do really like the sofas that come with this pack, but I think we could go a bit cozier with it if we can find some that look comfier. I actually think that these ones go really well with this living room. We do need more lights, I think, or maybe the light needs to just be moved a bit over here. There you go. I think that's a little bit better. Now we can actually kind of see what we're doing here. So color scheme wise, so far we've gone with a lot of reds and oranges. So I kind of want to stick to that. So we could go with a red sofa, or we've got this sort of cream colored one, which I think the cream one goes a little bit better. Then we could do the same two on these sides, but I'm not a big fan of doing like the same, like a 3-seater and another 3-seater. I think we could probably just do a 2-seater. Other alternative is that we actually just go with 2 armchairs, and that might also look kind of cool because we could just put them there. I do like using these as a little footstool as well, so I think I'm going to add one of those in front of this sofa. Then we do have these, which are basically the exact same sort of cream shade, so I think I'm going to go with those, and we'll just grab 2 of those and pull them so they're slightly angled towards the center where this sofa is. I think that's looking pretty cozy. I want to do a side table over this side. I do kind of want to go with the one that's my favorite one, which is this sort of low down table.
If you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to like, share and subscribe.
Then I, of course, want some plants over this side. We're going to put the TV over here, so I'll work that out in a second. Actually, I think we'll do a plant over here, a light maybe over here, and then we'll have the TV unit here, and we can put some decorations behind here. I'm just going to go with some flowers because I think that kind of looks like quite pretty in this room. Then behind these sofas and chairs, I'm thinking we could go with this behind the main one. I think I'll do instead actually is we'll pop this here, and I'm going to do surfaces behind here. We'll do some shelves. I'll just do 2 and then we'll put some pictures on there. I always think that makes it look like there's a bit more going on. Yeah, I feel like that looks pretty cool. And then it basically looks like you've then got some pictures like stacked up there instead. So I think that's looking pretty good. Let's go over here and do our TV. We do have the one that comes with this pack, which I think that one's actually kind of cool, but I don't know how much it goes with the color scheme. The darker one's a bit better. I just don't feel like it goes with the room very well. I don't know if it's because of this footstool as well that's maybe a bit of the wrong color. That is the closest that we're actually going to get to it though. What else would work? This one's quite nice. Yeah, I kind of like that one. Let's go with that one. And then we need the TV. So I'm going to do what... So they actually had a TV on the wall, which I could do. What I normally do is I'll take this big one and just make it a bit smaller and then put it underneath. We'll put it somewhere like that. I feel like we could do the one on the wall. We've got a lot of items on the wall already, so I think this kind of does work. And then we can add some decorations around this TV stand on top. We were going to do a light in this corner as well. We've got to remember that this is also the pet room, so I kind of want to incorporate some pet things in here too. Like, not pet room, but like we have pets in this house. And there was 2 pet beds in here as well previously, so I don't want to just completely take those out. I think finally we just need a rug in this living room, and then it's pretty good. I kind of like this living room. It's really cute. We could just go with something simple like this, where it's just like this soft brown rug. I actually kind of like that. I think it pulls the room in a little bit better. Then we've got this entire section over here to do things with. So I did want to make this just basically have like a bunch of books all the way across here. We could also do something like this, which is like a big shelving unit. I think it might be a little bit too modern, to be honest, if we did that one. I feel like this one would also work quite well. So I'm going to go with this in this corner. And then we do need to bring back in our pet things. So we had 2 pet beds in here. The only issue is actually fitting them in. Doesn't look like it fits super great with this bookcase. I think we could probably do 1. To be honest though, if you have pets in The Sims, you can literally have them sleep anywhere. It doesn't need to be in a pet bed. Let's go with this one here. How does that look? I think it looked a little bit better with this in the corner, to be honest. Then we could put the pet bed there. How does that look? Oh, it looks a little bit odd. See, I never use these pet beds, plainly just because they do take up like a lot of room. What if we put it over here? How does that look? That actually doesn't look too bad. So what I was thinking for this corner is that we could do a couple of these and then do another seat somewhere. So I'm going to put these right next to each other. They look a bit funny, but I think it's fine. And then we can do a little seat in front of it. I really like this one. Actually, wait, that's from the wrong pack. Could go with this one, as this one's quite cozy. And then we just do that in the corner there. I think it actually kind of works with having the pet bed next to it, because it means that you could sit and read while, like, you're with your pet. How is that color-wise, though? Does that look a bit funny? We could do it in yellow. Does that look better? And it's the stripes that's throwing me off. Are there any better ones that we could use? We could use, like, one of these. It's less comfy, though. I'm just going to go with the same ones that we have over in the other corner. I think that looks fine. And then I did want to add another light just on this side over here. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. It's a little bit empty on this side. I don't know if there's anything else that we want to add. I think there's some cool items from the island living pack that we could add over on here. Yeah, there we go, like that. So I think that actually looks pretty good. I like that a lot more. So now, last little bit, we've got to go over here. I'm gonna remove that, and then we're gonna sort out our bathroom, which I feel like definitely needs a bit of a few touches. I'm not the biggest fan of a lot of the color palettes here. It's very blue, which, yeah, you could do blue in a bathroom, but it's a bit too blue, I think. A bit too blue and purple. So I think that's pretty good for our downstairs bathroom. I think that's our main floor done. We can then go either upstairs or downstairs. I think let's go downstairs, just because I'm curious to check this area out. I did move the stairs a little bit, just to give us a bit more space upstairs and to like align it a little bit more with this wall here. So what I'm going to do is change the walls to be the same ones that we have upstairs. This is like a secondary living space, so I am going to change that. There's quite a like weirdly modern clock on the wall as well. I'm fine with there being a second bathroom downstairs. I think that's a good idea. I don't feel like we need a vault, so I am going to remove that just because I don't see the point in having these here. I'm actually just going to remove the entire room altogether, to be honest, because I just don't think it's really needed. Now that we've removed the vault, we can go ahead and have a look at the rest of it. I'm going to remove the animals from in here because I think that's a bit of a weird touch. Actually pretty happy with this little like pool area. I think it actually looks really cute now that I've kind of removed those other little bits. I am even fine with this pink like edge to it. I actually think it's really cute. So I think I'm actually going to leave that area because I like that. I think it looks really nice. But I do want to change this area a little bit. I think what we're going to do is actually change it so that it feels a little bit more like a spa area. We'll still add like the comforts and maybe even a speaker, but I do want this to be like the area that it makes sense that it's outside of a pool basically. I don't know what I'm going to make this area. I'm half tempted to actually make that the gym because it makes sense with this pool area being here that this area would be the gym. And then we obviously have the bathroom area over here, which actually not mad about the bathroom in this one. It's still a little bit blue. I might change the color of the walls just so that it isn't blue, but I actually don't think it looks that bad. But let's go ahead and change this area first. So I'm going to add in our light at the top. I'm going to use the same one again that we were using. This one's pretty cool actually though. I'm tempted to add that somewhere, but I'm not too sure where I'd add it. We do also need to make sure we can move our door from there to here. I'm tempted to actually make it an archway instead though. Let's remove pretty much everything from this room here, just because I don't think I want this to be a like streamer room. I think we could make it look a little bit better. So I'm going to go ahead and add these 2 lights in, which I think make it look nicer. I'm going to do one in there as well. Then what I'm going to do is add an archway just underneath here so that we can get to that gym room. We can just go with like a plain sort of door for that one. I think I'm also going to move this door a little bit further over because it was right at the bottom of the stairs. So let's maybe start out with the gym actually. I think that should look a bit better. I'm going to change the walls just because I think we could have some slightly nicer walls than this kind of reddy tone. I actually think I might change it to, because in this room I think this actually looks a lot nicer. I'm not a big fan of the walls that were there. But for this one, I don't want it to feel too bathroomy, so maybe not tiles, but I just wanted to have a quick look to see if there was any in there that felt like they worked. To be fair, we could go with something like this, what we went with upstairs in the bathroom. But let's have a look and see whether maybe something else might work better. I feel like a lighter colour would probably work better than some of these like more darker tones that we've got. This one feels kind of sporty. I feel like this would probably work. Then we can go ahead and grab our gym equipment. I'm going to go with the green ones. I feel like that works best with the walls that we've picked there. Although we can't get all the machines in green, so maybe I should do it in a different shade. How about blue? I feel like blue kind of works. I think we'd need to change the walls though. Can we get that colour in, like can we get it in a slightly different shade maybe? We can get it in blue, but I think it's a bit extra in blue. What about this like grey and white one? That actually looks alright. Yeah, I don't mind that. Then we can have these two machines here, and then we also had a boxing thing somewhere in one of the bedrooms. So I want to include that down here too. And we'll just pop that maybe here, and then I'm going to put a rug underneath it. The only issue is we don't get this in a lot of colours. I feel like I'm going to have to go with the brown one. Then for our rug underneath, I'm just going to go with something like this, I think. Yeah, I feel like that looks pretty good. We definitely need some additional items in this room though, because it's looking very bare. I think we need like some mirrors and stuff. We could add big mirrors all the way across here. Yeah, that always makes it look way more like a gym. And what could be good is also adding this directly above, because it's always nice to have a good airflow in a gym. Then what I like to do in a gym as well is also add a little like side table somewhere, and then you can put like some little towels and things on them. Let's go with this one because it matches with the wooden tones that we've got. Technically plants would make no sense down here just because there is literally no natural light, so you wouldn't be able to keep them alive, but I guess they could be fake plants. I'm going to add one just here. Then I'm just going to add some white towels to the little table there. So that's looking pretty good. I want a couple of bits on the walls, and then I think that's kind of it. Minimalism for a gym tends to work a little bit better. We've kind of gone with blue colours, so something like this looks quite nice. And then this picture also kind of works with the colour palette. I think that looks pretty good. I think that's all good for our gym. We can then move over to this area, which is more like our chill out space. For you could even use it as like getting changed and things as well, or just like chilling after you've been for a swim or to the gym. Actually tempted to put a fireplace down here, but I don't know if that would be a bit extra. Or maybe even a little bit dangerous given that it's literally underneath the house. But also it keeps it nice and warm down there, which is good for the pool but bad for the gym. Thinking we maybe go with something a little bit different. So we could go with something like this and put it in the corner. I know that you can get this in certain colours that, like certain ones that don't have this like teddy bear pattern, but I don't know which ones those are. Yeah, like this one. I think that looks really cute. We could then maybe just add like a couple of extra seating and things just around here. Do them as like armchairs maybe. Stuff like this. These are really cute. I'll add like a couple of those on both sides here. Or we could add them together on this side. Yeah, I feel like that works a bit better. Then I think it could be good to add a couple of these just on this wall here. Yeah, I think like that looks pretty good. I think we need a bit more going on over here though. Then for our bathroom, I think this has been sided up, but I don't think it's necessarily needed. I think it looks a bit intense. I'm fine with the rest of the room though. I think the rest of the room actually looks fine except for the walls, which are very blue. I might also change this colour because I know we can get it in brown, so I'd rather that. We can do blue. I think it might just be, there might be a better one that we can use somewhere. Like this one, I feel like is much nicer. Cool, so that's that sort of revamp done over there. It's given us a gym, which I think it definitely needed. That's all of our downstairs areas done. We can now move up to our last floor, which is the upstairs, which is very big because we have how many bedrooms? 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms to deal with up here, which is quite a lot. So we need to kind of work out what's going on there. I think I'm going to start in our hallway because there's a few bits that need sorting out in here. Start off by sorting out this bit that we've actually changed the fencing here. Is this actually meant to be green? I think it's meant to be green. I do kind of like that green colour actually along there. I don't actually think it's meant to be green though. I think it's just picked up a weird shade. Yeah, it has. It does make me think though that green might actually look quite nice up there if we can find a similar one. Like this. It's not the same shade. It was a little bit more desaturated. Oh, this one's quite nice. It's not green, but it's like this sort of different hue of like brown. Then we've got a lot going on in here. So we've got a fish tank. It's got a bin right next to it. I don't know whether when you clean out the fish tank, it actually needs a bin. The only issue that I have with the fish tank is the fact it's right in front of a window, which is kind of annoying. I'm going to get rid of the pictures. We'll get rid of the fish tank. I feel like it's a bit out of place. It's right in front of that window. Then they do have some collector's items, but I actually think that this would be better off being on this side. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Then if we do it in brown, it actually matches, which I think that looks a lot nicer over there, especially if we can then add some plants in either side over here. I don't normally do a massive amount to hallways just because there's a lot of doors there already, so it can sometimes feel a bit cramped, but something like that works really well. And we could include a rug right at the end here, but I would want to do something small like this. I think that kind of works. We do have this, I can see why they kind of put it there, because we've got like this big wall here where not much is going on. But what I would rather put there is just like either a couple of seats, or we could just do a bookshelf, because I think that might look a little bit nicer if we did something like this. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. And then I think we do need some like pictures and stuff around it. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. Then we do have a bit more space on the other side as well, but we have just done that quite a bit on the other side, so I'd rather do just like one picture. I think they did actually include this one picture on this wall last time, but I'm going to pop it back there. So that's looking much nicer as a hallway now. I do think we need maybe like one picture over here. I'm going to do maybe like a skinnier picture if we can, something like this. It's a shame this only comes in like black frames, but I don't think it looks too bad. We'll pop that there. So that's looking all right. I do want to do smaller lights again instead of these big ones. Then we can move on into our first bedroom. So this is the one I'm going to be dealing with. I think this is more of a teenager's room, I would assume, just from the posters. I'm not enjoying the light just because I don't like that kind of light. We don't need that because we've already got a gym in here, and I don't think the bin is necessary either. So let's pop our light back in so that we can actually see. I'm just going to use the skinny one again, just because it lights up the room so much better. So I'm not a fan of the posters, but if we're going to keep with the same style of the room, which I think we should, I'm actually just going to bunch them all up over here so that it still looks a little bit chaotic, but it's not looking too cluttered with it being behind this bed frame here. I'm going to change out these side tables. I'm actually going to try and keep these bedrooms like, because I think they might have done them with like a bit of personality towards each character. So I'm going to not change them too much. And I think it should be fine. I'm going to go with these instead, because I think this room's a little bit too modern looking. I'm going to go with this colour scheme instead. I'm going to change the walls to be just a slightly more desaturated blue tone maybe. Or we could go with like a more purpley tone so that it matches there. But I think this is supposed to be like a more masculine room because there's footballs and things on the walls. So maybe let's go with this one instead. It's just irking me that these side tables aren't the same sort of light colour as that. Then for our walls, we're going to tone it down a little bit, lower the saturation to this blue instead. I don't think we need a 3-seater sofa, so I'm going to change that over to a 2-seater instead so that we still do have that sofa in there. Again, moving all the posters that we have over to one wall. This speaker I'm going to push into the corner because I don't think it's necessary. I don't think we need the red to be as bright as it is, as we've gone with kind of a blue tone. So I'm going to just change a few of these things around. Then let's get rid of that sofa and change it for a 2-seater instead. We could go with something like this, but annoyingly it's got like a white frame, which doesn't really work. Weirdly, I think this actually goes really well with the room. I think it's because it's got tones of yellow and blue in it. I am going to swap this around though, so that this is in the corner. And do I even want this light? I don't even want this light. Let's remove the light. I actually think that that looks a little bit nicer being in the corner there. It just kind of works a little bit better with the shape of the room. I think we definitely need some plants as well. So I'm going to add, as this is like a slightly like bluey toned room, we're going to go with more blue toned plants, not a blue cactus. Is that like a normal cactus with blue on it? No, it's a crazy looking cactus. I think we could go with something like this where it's lilies instead. I think that looks quite nice. And then over here on this side of the room, we do have 2 side tables. So I'm going to do a lamp and a plant because that always tends to work quite well. We're just going to go with the basic blue lamp that you get there. Then I might just go with some blue flowers there. So I think that's looking a lot better in this room now. We can then move over to our bathroom. So this is actually not that bad. I think it's a little bit cramped. I'm not a big fan of this thing, so we get rid of that. And these two towels look fine too. So let's go ahead and maybe just change up the walls. And I've just swapped that for this sink instead, because I think that one looks a little bit nicer. We're going to go with white, I think, for this as well. And then I'm just going to change the flooring and maybe these towels. I think they could just be this plain white one. I think it's got a blue strip on it as well, so it also works with the colour of the room. We can also add a little rug just down here. I'll see how that fits in with our flooring though in a second. But I think even just white tile kind of looks better in there. Yeah, so I'm going to stick with that. I think that bathroom looks a lot better now. We do need our toilet roll as well, which I think this person's tend to have forgotten. So we've got this bedroom, which is clearly like maybe a teenager room. Again, I'm kind of thinking there's a lot of like paintings in here and like a massive space rock just sitting on there. I'm not a big fan of this rug just kind of sitting there. I'm not a big fan of that bed either. I think the mirror being right next to the bed is fine. I normally do that as well, but we are going to change it up a little bit. So because this is a slightly more sort of feminine room, I think we can go with some slightly like maybe pinks and oranges tend to work quite well together. And we've done quite a lot of oranges in the rest of the house as well anyway. I actually think this looks really cool because it's got curtains that go over that window that's directly behind the bed. And we can get it in this pinky tone, but I actually think it looked nicer in this one where it got these orange tones. I'm going to keep the posters there because I think they look fine. I do think we need a side table though, even if we make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to go with this one, even though it's a little bit more modern. And I don't think we need anything on it particularly. I'm just going to make it really small and we just have a tiny one right by the side of the bed. I don't think we have enough space really to put a rug into this room. I think this bookcase is fine if we change the colour. I'm not a big fan of this industrial style desk because I'm not too sure why we have like an industrial desk in here. But if we remove that, we can then add in a slightly different desk and I'll just pop all the items back on there. Even though I'm not too sure why this big, like large space rock is there. I'm assuming that the builder didn't quite know where to put it. But what I'm actually going to do is probably put it in this room. But this person has a lot of drawings in here. So what I'm thinking is that we can actually move the easel into here as well. So the way I'm going to do that, I'm trying to think of where I could put it. I don't think that they necessarily need a desk. So I'm going to move this thing here. I'm going to just move that into here for now. And then we'll get rid of the desk. And what I'll do instead is actually have the easel be in this bedroom. Because the other bedroom has a bit too much going on, I think. Remove these. We'll keep these pictures because I think they're fine. I'm going to move these over here actually. And then this is the room where we can also incorporate the paintings that we had previously. And then it makes more sense that they're sort of like an artist and they've got all their paintings up there. We're going to keep these little postcards as well, but I'm actually just going to move these slightly further down like this. And then we can put the easel over here. There we go. I think that makes a little bit more sense. I'm going to move this as well so that it's slightly more this way and we can put the bin a bit further over. Now, as this person is an artist, it makes sense to also give them these bits, which are like cross-stitching kits. So what I think I'm going to do is add a small table into this corner over here. We'll just do like maybe this one. This might be a bit too low down. This one. That one kind of works. And then we'll add that on top. And then I'll also add these bits into this room as well. I can put one on top of here. That seems to have actually flattened it, so I think we need to change that a bit. Actually, I feel like they probably aren't really needed. We've got the kit in the other room anyway. There's not actually anything on them, they're just plain. We do also have a violin, which I could put just in front of here. I am going to change these lights as well, because they're annoying me. I feel like the cute little, like, cloud can stay, though. Then I think we could actually incorporate a rug, so I'm just going to do one in this little section here. And I'm going to go with this cute little pink rug from the cottage set. I think that's pretty good for that room. We can then move over to the kids' room, which I actually don't think it looks that bad. I think I do want to change the walls, and the light is for some reason like right next to this door, so I want to move that into the middle of the room. I'm actually going to choose this cloud because I think this one's much cuter. But I think this room is actually pretty good. I don't want to change too much about it. I think like this is standing out a lot, but I think that's because of the colour. So if we just change that to be blue, then that actually doesn't look too bad. and then I am going to stick it in this corner over here, just to make everything look a little bit more linear. We can then move this over here as well. We've got a little robot on there. I think as well I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, move this into the corner here, and then we can actually put this at the end of the bed here, and we can pop the bin in the middle. Yeah, I don't think that room really needs a massive amount changed. It's still a little bit cluttered looking, so I think I'm just going to grab this and put it there instead. But I think that room is actually fine. Let's move over then to our last room, which is this sort of very chaotic looking collector's almost room, because there's a lot of items that they clearly collect here. So I think what we need to do is really focus in on the collector's items and having a space for them. So I think this is fine. If it was darker, maybe. Yeah, this colour, and we can do 2 of those, and we'll just stick them right next to each other. Okay, so we've almost moved all of the collector's items. I've added every crystal to the left-hand side, and then we've got, well, bar this massive one, and then we've got a few more scattered around here. I think there's a few things that are sort of added around, but I think I'm just trying to make sure I get them all. They're just like little ones. Yeah, I think that's fine. So we can now get rid of that shelf. We've got a couple more pictures, which I think might be fine. Absolutely hate these rugs, so getting rid of those. We've then got a normal desk, and then we've got a big techie desk, which I want to incorporate both of those anyway. Then we've got all of these fish as well that have been collected. So let's go ahead and just do the rest of it. So I'm going to get rid of the bed, get rid of that. Then that I'm fine with. We need to keep this thing because that's a collected item as well. Remove that. And then we can go ahead and finally start sort of working out the colour scheme for the room. I'm not a big fan of this desk either, but we'll change that after. For our room colour, I'm really digging this one. It's still got that slightly warmer tone, and it has this trim that is just perfect for this flooring that we've got. I'm going to move this window over a little bit, and then I think we can then start to rearrange everything and get some more furniture in here. I think the placement of the bed was fine, so I'm going to pop another bed back there, but we do want to pick one, I think a slightly different bed than what was originally in there. Something like this would probably work. I actually might put it over here, just because then we can put the desk in front of the open window, which will feel a lot nicer. I think this is fine. I just want to change the colour of it. Yeah, there we go. That looks fine. Then I'm assuming these are like the kids' drawings maybe, so we can keep these directly above the bed, just because that is kind of cute. Or what we can do is actually put them like here. So they're a little bit hidden away, but you can still see them when you're in the bed, so it kind of makes sense. This thing, I think, I'm not even sure what this is. I'm going to put it like over here. And then we need our side tables. We do have this giant rock, which I'm not sure what to do with. I'm tempted to actually put it out here, just because it does look kind of cool. And obviously this is like our space area. To put it in this corner over here. Yeah, that looks kind of cool. So then now that we've done that, obviously we're going to have to keep this sort of space station bit, but I'm actually going to move it over here. I think we're going to put a TV over this side, and we do need a cabinet still, so we could put the TV maybe on top of the cabinet or on the wall. I think if we go with this one, it actually goes with the style of the house really well. We could actually put some of the collectible items here, and then I'm going to do a little plant on the other side. Then I think we just need a TV directly behind here so that we've got something to watch while we're in bed. And we'll go with this one. Then finally we need a desk over here. I do want to move around these fish as well. I'm not too sure where I'm going to put them though. I think we could have this picture somewhere else. Maybe even, will it fit behind the bed? Yeah, we'll put it there. It's a bit cluttered on that side of the bedroom, but I think it's mostly fine. Or we could put it over this side. It actually kind of works with that desk a little bit better. We can then put our collection of fish over here. And I'm going to do one, I'm just going to do them going down in a little line. Then finally we can add our desk over here. So I'm going to go with a lot more of a wooden desk. I think will look a little bit nicer in there. One that's like a little bit longer as well, because we do have the space for it. We can put it right in front of this window so that you get a gorgeous view while you're working. So that desk's looking a lot better now. I think we do need some kind of rug maybe in the center of the room underneath this bed, just to tie it all together and make it feel a little bit cozier. I think this one goes quite well with the style of the house. Yeah, I like that. Then finally we've got the last room, which is our bathroom over here, which is very garish. I am not the biggest fan of gold personally. I think I'm just going to actually strip this room and we'll start fresh, and this will be our last room. So I think we go with a similar tile that we went with the downstairs bathroom. I think it goes better with the one that we've got in the other room. Then I think this tiling kind of looks the best with the walls. We do need a light. I want to change the lighting in that room as well to be back to the smaller ones. Then I did like the idea that they had where the bath was right in the middle of the room. I don't know if that's... should that work? I'm trying to think of how it's going to work. I think it would be fine, but everything looked a little bit cramped, which is kind of what I don't want. What I think we could do instead is actually do a like custom bath shower situation. So if we go with maybe this bath, we can then do a shower here. We can actually slightly push it up to it so that it looks like it sort of connects. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. We can then do some kind of thing behind here. So they originally put this here. I think that's fine, but I'm actually going to put that at the end. Then we can go with a little picture in the middle. And then if we scroll over here, we can then do our toilet and our sink. So I'm going to do cabinets, but I'm only going to do 2, and then we can put a toilet there. I think, does that go with the wood we've picked? Sort of. I think it's fine. It goes with the walls. And we can have our mirror, and I'm going to put a light directly above it as well. And we'll do 2 sinks for this one as well. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. So there's all of the renovations done. And there is my renovation of this island living house. I think that this was actually pretty nice looking from the outside to begin with. There were definitely some aspects that I liked. I like the fact that it's got so many things inside that are just for activities and hobbies. I do think that it did just need a slight clear up of a lot of the different bits of clutter, so there were specific rooms for specific hobbies. But let me know what you think of this build in the comments below. I have uploaded this on the gallery as well, so if you'd like to download it, you can download it under HextraHunt. And if you have a build that you'd like to see me renovate, please let me know in the comments below also. I'd be happy to do so. Be sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already. I post long content every Wednesday and Friday at around 6 PM, and I try to post shorts the rest of the week. I'm thinking about making this a series, as this is the second episode of a renovation that I have done, so I'll leave the series link on the screen now. There's also a recommended video, so check that one out too, and I hope you all have a great evening.